Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/MaliciousCompliance. Let's start our video with a story in which we tell you how animals can get rid of a terrible employee who brought trouble to his colleagues. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. The Giant and the Scorpion. This happened years ago. My parents owned a pet shop that carried a small variety of exotic animals, mostly snakes and spiders, including one monster black scorpion. Now, the thing about black scorpions is they aren't super poisonous, they just look super nasty. This particular guy we called Nightmare, but was actually super friendly as us kids used to get him out and let him ride around sitting on our shoulders. This meant that Nightmare was used to running up to the person who opened his box. So in comes this guy wanting a small snake. In our state, snakes had to be at least a certain size, and we didn't have anything that would be small enough for what he wanted. He explained that he worked construction on a site pretty far out of town. The company bussed them from a lot on the edge of town. This meant that their lunches were all kept in the site office trailer. Every day, they could all tell that someone had been going through the boxes, and the best things out of the lunches were disappearing. Totally made everybody mad, but no one was ever able to prove who was doing it, as there were 3 people who worked in the office, 2 secretaries, and the site manager. Now, the site manager was a huge guy, about 6.5 feet tall, broad as a barn, and mean as an angry bull. Nobody wanted to deal with this guy, even to ask about their missing food. So our customer decides that Nightmare is exactly what he needs, because he won't be bothered by being in the dark for several hours, and he's gonna come running as soon as the box is open. I'm laughing my butt off at this idea and even offer that he can return Nightmare for a full refund after he's done his job. 2 days later, the guy's back, but he doesn't have Nightmare. It seems that when the jerk opened the lunchbox to see what was inside, Nightmare came running out to greet him. Everybody on site saw this giant of a man run out of the office screaming like a little girl while wetting his pants. The next day, he's not in the office, and the big boss is there. When everybody comes in to drop off their lunches, Big Boss is laughing his butt off, and there sits Nightmare in a new 100-gallon terrarium. The site manager had quit in a screaming phone call about how the employees were trying to kill him, and he refused to go back to a site with hazardous conditions. The Big Boss was just glad to be rid of him. Big Boss never had enough of a reason to fire him, but he wasn't exactly a great employee, and his attitude frequently sucked, even when dealing with the bosses. In the end, they made Nightmare the office mascot. I was expecting the worst for Nightmare. Glad it was all happiness. And our next story. I won over $5,000 in court. Okay, so just a little bit of info before I get into the story. Also, sorry, this might get a little long, but I hope it's worth it. I, 22-year-old male, work construction and run a few crews, and I'm a foreman because I've been working in this field since I started working summers when I was 14. That's legal in my state. With this being said, I have a lot of experience and get paid really well. For my job, I need a truck that can pull a lot of trailers and also get into a lot of sketchy job sites, especially in the winter, so I drive a new lifted pickup, F350. Anyway, let's get into it. About 4 months ago now, I got off work one day and just didn't really feel like making dinner, so I decided to go get myself the trusty Big Mac at McDonald's. Well, after I got my order, I was going to pull out into the parking lot to drive home, and I was looking hard over my left to see how busy the road was before I got over there. Well, I wasn't paying great attention to what was happening in front of me, and as I was creeping forward, someone who was in front of me had stopped and wasn't paying attention either. I ended up barely hitting his mirror and scraping his door with my front end. I immediately reversed and hopped out. I made sure the guy was okay and apologized, knowing it was my fault, and I asked if he wanted to call the cops. Let's call him Brent. Brent says, "Nah, bro, we're good. If you just give me your insurance info, I think we can get this taken care of." I was fine with that, as there was no damage done to my truck, and it's not required to call the cops for an accident if it occurs in a private parking lot. This is relevant later. We exchange info, and he seems pretty cool, so I tell him to go get the damage bid and I'll just pay in cash so my insurance rates don't go up, as long as he's okay with it. He says that's fine, and we both just leave, and I feel like a moron. But all in all, Brent seems like a cool dude, and I just hope we can get it sorted out smoothly. About a month passes by and I haven't heard anything from Brent or the shop I told him to go to. Honestly, I wasn't too stressed about this because if he decided to not get it done, that's on him. Well, he calls me up one day at about noon and says he can't remember my name and he wanted to tell the guys at the shop who sent him there because it seemed like we all knew each other. I told him my name and the guys at the shop gave him a deal. Pretty sure they say this to everyone, LOL. He sends me the bid for damages and it comes to $2,403. This was more than I imagined, but I said to get it done and I'd take care of the bill afterward, and that was that. He hung up, said it was cool, and I went on with my day as usual. Another month goes by and I don't hear anything until Brent calls me up while I'm at work again and says, "Hey brother, I talked to the shop and they said they can't get me in for another 2 weeks or so they may end up charging me more if they find more damage." I say, "Okay, sounds good, just let me know, man. Hope it goes smooth for you, and sorry for the inconvenience." He seems to take it good, and I'm just trying to be a good person. He responds with, "Well, after talking to my wife, I'm okay if you just wanted to write a check for $2,500 and we can call it even." This seemed odd to me because why the hell wouldn't someone want their vehicle repairs all paid for? I say, "Okay, man, let's set a time and place to meet and I'll get you paid." He liked the idea and ended the call by telling me he'd let me know. Yet another month passes by and I hear nothing again. At this point, I'm getting fed up and just want the situation to stop being over my head. He hits me up at 11 p.m. one night and asks if we can meet in town. I found this kind of disrespectful because I was nearly asleep and had to be to work at 5 a.m. the next day. Either way, I said that was fine and took my $2,500 cash and wrote up a quick contract saying this payment would be accepted as payment in full for the damages, and by accepting it, he would release me from any and all liability. This was a pretty fair contract, I believe, as it was the deal we had already made over the phone, just in writing. I get to the place we suggested as a meetup spot. I give him the cash and he signs the contract without even hardly reading it, and he didn't want the copy. This was a red flag to me, but I just assumed he didn't really care all that much about it, so I just sent him a photo of the contract and went back home for some beauty sleep. Well, as you can guess by now, another effing month goes by with me just living life, carefree, not a worry in the world about this stupid car accident. Well, I go to check my mail and I have a notice from this guy's lawyer that he's suing me for not paying after wrecking his car. Well, this made me mad, but I also knew I had plenty of text messages and a contract on my side. I immediately call Brent and he blocks my number. Luckily enough, my girlfriend works for a lawyer, so I get him updated and he says he'd love to help. He lets me know I saved my butt by writing that contract, as any contract worth over $500 is to be held up in any level of court in my state. I immediately get to work on my revenge. I remember on the side of this guy's car he had a business logo, and I took pictures of the damage, so I hop online and get to the Better Business Bureau to look up who owns this company, thinking that surely he couldn't own the business because he's such an idiot. I was wrong. The guy owns the company, and I can see that he has about 12 one-star reviews, all in dispute because of his shady business practices, telling people it'll cost one thing and then charging them 4 times what he said it would. Sound familiar? I remember when he said the shop may charge more than the original $2,403. That's right, he was suing me for $10,000, 4 times what the shop told him it would cost. Unbelievably, he was trying his same sneaky crap on me. My lawyer takes note of this, and we show up to court ready for war. This guy's sleazy. As we get there and all set up, he says, "You ready to give me more of Daddy's money?" with a smirk. I guess just because I'm young and drive a nice truck and could afford $2,500? His lawyer gets up and starts trying to say BS from me hitting and running, and Brent barely got a picture of my license plate, so I tried bullying him into taking a deal for only $2,500 when the damage was clearly more than that. There were obviously holes in his story, and he really didn't have much to say. Just imagine the smile on my face as my lawyer lays out the printouts of our text messages and the physical copy of the contract, which was signed by Brent. His lawyer was ghostly white and looked sick. After laying out all the evidence, my lawyer pulled out a little hidden gem, the printouts of all the complaints we found on the Better Business Bureau and how he was doing the same thing to me. That was the final nail in the coffin, as the judge said he'd seen enough. He asked Brent for any final statements, and Brent said, "I don't even have the $2,500 anymore. Can I just get that then and we'll be okay?" Literally admitting to the judge that he had received my money and his story was just a load of horse crap. I thought his lawyer was going to strangle him. It was beautiful. The judge ended up ruling in my favor and demanded him to pay my legal fees as well as damages and lost wages because I had to miss work to be in court. The absolute sweetest part was that this particular day my crew was on a very high-wage job and I was technically the one getting paid before I paid them out as subcontractors. This means I was to be paid $475 an hour, and this whole ordeal took about 5 hours. He ended up having to pay me almost $5,000. I don't think I've ever been so happy in my life. Maybe Brent had to ask his daddy for money. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.